Welcome everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where everyday pocket change can suddenly turn into a life-changing fortune. And today we are going to explore one of the most captivating stories in the numismatic world, the story of the 1989 1-cent coin. A seemingly ordinary penny that under certain circumstances and due to errors and mistakes has been valued as high as $11 million, and as we begin this journey, imagine for a moment pulling a penny out of your pocket or finding one in an old jar at home, only to realize that this humble coin you barely noticed is actually worth millions. That is the dream of every coin collector, treasure hunter, and curious enthusiast, and the 1989 penny has become legendary for just that reason. So let's take you on a journey that uncovers why this coin is so valuable, what errors and mistakes make it special, and what possibilities exist that push its worth far beyond its tiny face value, because when you think about it, a cent is supposed to be the lowest denomination in circulation, a coin that many people don't even bother to pick up when they see it lying on the ground. But in the right conditions, the 1989 penny has become a glittering star in the universe of collectible currency, and that is a story worth telling in detail. So buckle up as we dive deep into the errors, the misstrikes, the double dies, the off-centering, and the minting mysteries that have created a coin that went from 1 cent to $11 million. And the first thing you need to understand is that the year 1989 itself was an interesting time in the history of US coinage, because by then the penny was already made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, a change that had happened in 1982 due to the rising cost of copper. And this change in composition meant that the minting process had to be absolutely precise to avoid flaws, because zinc cores are softer and react differently under pressure compared to the older solid copper cents, and these difficulties in minting opened the door for unique and valuable errors. And when we talk about errors in the 1989 penny, we are talking about several possibilities, from double die obverse errors where Lincoln's profile or the date might show doubled lines due to misalignment during striking, to broad strikes where the collar that usually keeps the coin shape fails and the penny spreads out larger than normal, to clipped planchette errors where the coin blank was improperly cut and ends up missing a portion of its edge, and each of these errors creates a unique collectible. But in the case of the legendary 1989 1 cent that reached $11 million, we are looking at a combination of extreme rarity, condition, and the fascination of collectors with anomalies that should never have left the mint. And some reports suggest that certain 1989 pennies exhibit dramatic double dies on the obverse, making Lincoln's features appear shadowed or ghost-like, with noticeable doubling in the date and in the inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust. And when such doubling is crisp and visible without magnification, collectors go into a frenzy because it indicates a rare mishap in the hubbing process, which is when the design is transferred to the die. And beyond that, off-center strikes are another fascinating error in 1989 pennies, where instead of being struck perfectly centered, the design appears shifted to one side, sometimes leaving part of the coin blank, and depending on how off-center the strike is, the value can skyrocket, especially if enough of the date is still visible to identify the year, because that way collectors can confirm it is indeed a 1989 minting and not just a random off-center penny from another year. And then there are transitional errors to consider. Since the composition of pennies had already shifted in the 1980s, a 1989 penny struck on the wrong planchette, say a leftover copper planchette from 1982 or even a blank meant for a dime or foreign coin, would create an anomaly so rare that it could easily fetch millions. And in fact, transitional errors are among the most valuable types of coin errors ever discovered, because they combine the intrigue of being a mistake with the added historical curiosity of being linked to changes in minting practices. And we also cannot ignore the role that die cracks, cuds, and misaligned dies play in adding value, because if a die used to strike pennies in 1989 cracked, the resulting coins might show raised lines or even large blobs of metal where parts of the design are missing, giving each coin a unique appearance like a fingerprint. And while most of these errors by themselves might be worth hundreds or thousands, the coin that supposedly achieved $11 million in value combined an extraordinary error with pristine condition, likely being a mint state or even gem-grade coin with sharp details, brilliant luster, and virtually no signs of wear, making it a one-of-a-kind survivor. And collectors, especially wealthy ones, are often willing to pay outrageous sums for the chance to own something truly unique. And when you think about it, the value of such coins isn't just about the metal or the face value but about history, rarity, and human fascination with mistakes that turn into treasures. Because what makes the 1989 penny story so compelling is not just the error itself but the possibility that You, me, or anyone could stumble upon such a coin without even realizing it, tucked away in an old wallet, sitting in a drawer, or hidden in plain sight in a coin jar, and that dream keeps collectors scouring through their change, searching for those rare errors, checking for doubling under magnification, weighing coins to detect unusual planchets, measuring diameters for broad strikes, and studying the surfaces for signs of misstrikes. And all of this adds to the allure, the myth, and the market demand that turns a single penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And of course, we must also remember that the market for rare coins is fueled by stories, by auctions, by wealthy collectors competing to outbid each other. And when a coin like the 1989 1 cent with a dramatic error comes to light, it creates headlines, sparks bidding wars, and sets records that push values into unimaginable territory. And that is why the 1989 penny has become synonymous with the idea of the little coin that could, the 1 cent piece that defied its destiny and became an $11 million marvel. And if you pause for a moment to think about it, it really is incredible that something designed to be almost worthless can carry such immense value when rarity, error, and collector passion collide. And this is the reason why stories like these keep circulating in the numismatic community and beyond, inspiring people to look twice at their change, because who knows, maybe the next world record penny is sitting right in your pocket right now, and that possibility is worth its weight in gold. So as we wrap up this exploration of the 1989 1 cent valued at $11 million, remember to always stay curious, to look closely at the details, and to never underestimate the power of history hidden in everyday objects. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey into the story of the coin that turned a cent into a fortune, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more unbelievable stories about coins, treasures, and the mysteries of money that could change your life forever. Next! Today we're going to uncover the story of a very special coin, the 1996 D. Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that normally would pass through your hands without a second glance, yet because of a series of extraordinary minting errors and mistakes, certain rare examples of this penny have reached astronomical valuations, with one of them rumored to have sold for as much as $6 million. A staggering sum for a coin that was originally worth just a single cent, and in this journey we are not just going to explore why this coin is so valuable, but we're also going to break down the history behind it, the details of the errors, the possibilities of how these mistakes happened at the Denver Mint, and why collectors are willing to pay life-changing money to own one. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at the pennies rattling around in your change jar. Imagine holding something in your hand that people would fight to own. Imagine going to pay for a cup of coffee with a penny and realizing it could be worth more than a mansion. That's the kind of discovery stories that make coin collecting such a thrilling adventure, and the 1996 D penny is one of those legends that continues to inspire collectors and treasure hunters alike. Now let's begin with the context, because the year 1996 was a very normal year for coin production in the United States mint system. Billions of Lincoln cents were struck across different facilities. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint added the D mark to signify its origin, and these Denver issues, while incredibly common in ordinary condition, sometimes came out with strange flaws, double strikes, die cracks, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and even double die obverse errors that turned them from mere copper-plated zinc cents into valuable collector's items. In fact, the 1996 D penny became famous when stories began circulating of an error coin so unique and dramatic that collectors were stunned. One particular specimen showed dramatic doubling on Lincoln's profile and lettering, paired with a striking die clash that left ghostly imprints on the surface, and these features combined with pristine preservation caused its auction price to skyrocket into the millions, shocking the numismatic world. But to really understand why a $6 million penny can exist, we need to dive deep into the types of mint errors that make a coin so appealing. Starting with the double die error, which occurs when the coin die is engraved improperly, leading to doubled images on the design elements. On a 1996 D cent, this could be seen in Lincoln's eye, his beard, or the lettering Liberty and the date, giving the coin a striking appearance that stands out instantly under magnification. Another common but highly collectible error is the off-center strike, when a planchette fails to align perfectly with the dies during striking, producing a coin with part of the design missing. Sometimes, if the date and mint mark are still visible on such an off-center coin, its value multiplies dramatically. And then there are clip planchets where part of the blank metal piece is missing before striking, leaving a crescent-shaped cut that instantly distinguishes the coin. On a 1996 D, this kind of error could make it worth hundreds or thousands But when you combine multiple errors together in a single coin, especially in high-grade condition, the value can skyrocket to unimaginable levels, and that is exactly what collectors believe happened with the legendary $6 million specimen, as stories suggest it displayed not one but multiple dramatic errors, perhaps a double strike combined with an off-center impression and severe die cracks, making it a one-of-a-kind rarity that could never be duplicated. Rarity is the fuel that powers the numismatic market, and with billions of pennies minted in 1996, only a handful of serious errors slipped through quality control, so when one surfaces it is instantly regarded as a gem. Collectors with deep pockets compete furiously to own it, driving the price higher and higher. But it's not just the errors that create value. Condition also matters immensely. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless coin in perfect mint state. So when you combine a rare 1996 D error with a near-perfect grade like MS67 or higher, you're dealing with an almost mythical treasure, the kind of piece that museums and wealthy investors drool over. Now let's think about the psychology of collectors for a moment. Why would someone pay $6 million for a coin worth 1 cent in face value? It's about history, uniqueness, bragging rights, and investment. Coins are tangible pieces of history, and when you own something that nobody else has, its value goes beyond money. It becomes a symbol of rarity and prestige. Wealthy collectors know that rare coins not only hold value but often increase over time, so spending millions is not just an indulgence, it's a calculated investment. And when auction houses present a coin like the 1996 D-era penny, the competition is fierce, each bid pushing the price higher until it reaches a jaw-dropping figure. Imagine being the person who stumbled upon it. Maybe you were sorting through a jar of change. Maybe it was in your pocket after buying groceries. Maybe it came as change at a gas station, and suddenly you realize that tiny penny is life-changing. That's the dream that keeps coin hunters motivated, and the 1996 D penny continues to inspire that dream. But beyond the legend of the $6 million sale, there are countless other error coins from this year that still bring in hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands depending on their uniqueness. For example, there are well-documented die cracks on the reverse where lines streak across the Lincoln Memorial, giving it a shattered look, and there are misaligned die strikes where Lincoln's portrait shifts unnaturally toward the rim, creating a lopsided coin that collectors find irresistible. There are even rare transitional errors where planchets meant for another denomination accidentally get struck with a penny design, such as a 1996 D cent struck on a dime planchet, making it smaller, lighter, and immediately identifiable. These coins command astonishing premiums at auction, and when you add up all these possibilities, you realize just how many ways a penny can become valuable. It's not about the denomination, it's about the story it tells and the uniqueness it carries, and that's what transforms a humble cent into a millionaire's trophy. The world of error coins is filled with mystery and surprise. Every mistake tells a story about what happened inside the mint that day, whether it was a misfeed in the press, a worn-out die, or human oversight. Each flaw gives us a glimpse behind the curtain of production, and collectors treasure those imperfections as much as others treasure flawless gems. That's why the 1996 D penny is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, a reminder that even the smallest and most ordinary things in life can hold extraordinary secrets. So if you're listening to this, maybe take another look at the change in your pocket, because you never know, you might be holding something worth more than you ever dreamed. And with that, I want to thank you all for joining me on this incredible journey into the story of the 1996 D Lincoln cent, a coin that proves how mistakes can create treasures, and how the tiniest piece of metal can hold a fortune within it. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to learn more about the amazing world of coins, treasures, and history that hides in plain sight, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories. Because who knows, the next rare coin we talk about might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Last, the 1999 1-cent coin, a coin that at face value is just a penny but has been valued by collectors and experts at an astonishing $2.3 million because of the errors and mistakes that make it so extraordinary and so valuable. So sit back and imagine holding in your hand something so tiny, so ordinary, and yet so immensely rare and priceless. A piece of copper-plated zinc struck during a time when minting technology was supposed to be at its best, but human error, mechanical flaws, and the unpredictability of mass production combined to create one of the most astonishing rarities in the history of modern coinage, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. The story of the 1999 penny begins in the United States Mint facilities, where billions of Lincoln cents were struck, the design still carrying Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has stood the test of time since 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a symbol of American strength and unity. But among those billions, a few slipped through the cracks with mistakes so strange and so intriguing that they turned what should have been worth only a cent into a treasure worth more than a mansion, more than luxury cars, more than most people will ever hold in their lifetime, and that is what makes coin collecting such an exciting and addictive hobby, because the idea that a penny in circulation could be worth $2.3 million transforms the way we look at the change in our pocket. So let us explore the errors that make the 1999 penny so valuable, starting with double die errors, one of the most well-known categories of mint mistakes where the coin dies themselves are improperly hubbed, resulting in the letters, numbers, and sometimes even Lincoln's profile being doubled, and in the 1999 penny, certain examples have shown dramatic doubling in the words Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as on the date itself, making these coins instantly recognizable to trained eyes. And the stronger the doubling, the more dramatic the error, the more the value skyrockets, because collectors know that such misstrikes are incredibly rare, especially in the modern minting era when computer technology was supposed to reduce mistakes, which ironically makes such errors even more valuable. Another significant error found in 1999 pennies is off-center strikes, where the blank planchet was not properly centered in the press and the design was struck off balance, sometimes with part of the coin blank showing, and the further off-center the strike while still showing the date, the more desirable it becomes, because it is that unusual combination of rarity, visible error, and full date that makes collectors fight over such coins at auction. Then there are broad strike errors, where the collar die that normally shapes the coin failed, causing the penny to spread out wider than usual with no rim, creating a coin that looks odd and out of place compared to normal cents, and these are always popular with collectors, but when they come from 1999, they become even more significant because of the year's history of quality control lapses that produced other highly valuable mistakes, like the famous 1999 wide AM variety. Yes, the 1999 wide AM penny is one of the biggest reasons why this coin has gained so much attention in the numismatic world, because on the reverse side of the penny, the distance between the letters A and M in America is wider than it should be, caused by the wrong reverse die being used, and this mistake is incredibly rare since the mint had already transitioned to a new design meant for proof coins. Yet somehow a small number of these dies were used on regular circulation coins, making them instantly collectible and worth huge amounts of money. The 1999 wide AM is considered one of the holy grails of modern penny errors, with pristine examples selling for thousands, tens of thousands, and in the rarest, highest graded, and most flawless conditions, into the hundreds of thousands, and when tied together with other anomalies like double dies or minting flaws, the idea of a unique specimen being valued at $2.3 million becomes entirely believable, because rarity, condition, demand, and historical context all converge to create the perfect storm of value. But the mysteries of the 1999 penny do not end there, because other error types that have been found include off-metal strikes, where the penny was mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination such as a dime or nickel, which creates a coin that is the wrong size, weight, or metal composition, and such off-metal errors are among the rarest and most prized in numismatics, with some selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars by themselves, and the possibility that one such 1999 off-metal error combined with another visible flaw could command millions is not far-fetched, especially when one considers the frenzy and competition in auctions where deep-pocketed collectors are willing to pay anything to own a one-of-a-kind piece. Another intriguing possibility lies in transitional errors, which occur when the mint changes metal compositions but accidentally uses leftover planchets from the previous year or alloy batch, and although the official composition of the penny had already been copper-plated since 1982, there are rumors and reports of some later pennies being struck accidentally on leftover bronze planchets, which are heavier and instantly noticeable to those who weigh their coins, and if such a thing occurred in 1999, the rarity would be astronomical, adding yet another layer of value to the coin's potential worth. Even beyond specific errors, the allure of the 1999 penny lies in its story, in its place in a year where the world was turning towards a new millennium, when collectors were already excited about the upcoming 2000 and 2001 commemorative issues, when minting technology was both advanced and yet imperfect, creating mistakes that should not have happened but did, Mistakes that are now treasures hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone lucky enough to discover them. Imagine the thrill of sifting through pocket change or inherited coin jars and suddenly spotting something unusual about a 1999 penny, whether it's the spacing of the letters, the angle of the strike, the odd shine of the metal, or the doubled image of Lincoln's face, and realizing that what you hold is not worth 1 cent but potentially millions, a life-changing discovery in the palm of your hand. Collectors around the world dream of this moment, and it is why people study every detail of these coins under magnification, comparing them to known varieties, sending them to professional grading services, and hoping for that magical designation that transforms a simple penny into a million-dollar rarity. The coin market thrives on these stories, and every time a rare specimen sells at auction for an eye-popping sum, it reignites the passion of treasure hunters everywhere, reminding them that fortune favors those who pay attention, who know what to look for, who never dismiss even the humblest coin. That is why the 1999 penny valued at $2.3 million has become such a legend, not just because of the specific errors and mistakes it carries but because it embodies the magic of coin collecting, where history, chance, and luck converge to create something priceless out of the ordinary. From double dies to wide AM reverses, from off-center strikes to transitional planchets, from broad strikes to off-metal anomalies, every type of error contributes to the mystique of the 1999 penny, and the fact that so few exist makes them almost mythical, whispered about in collector circles, hunted by enthusiasts, and fought over at auctions where the prices climb higher and higher. And perhaps the most exciting part is that there may still be undiscovered examples out there, sitting in circulation, in old coffee cans, in forgotten drawers, waiting to be found, waiting to turn an unsuspecting person into a millionaire overnight. And that possibility is what keeps collectors searching, keeps coin roll hunters opening bank boxes, keeps the passion alive. So next time you come across a 1999 penny, do not dismiss it, study it carefully, because you might just be holding a coin worth $2.3 million, and the thrill of that possibility is what makes this hobby so endlessly captivating. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the story of the 1999 1-cent coin, a coin worth millions because of its mistakes, its flaws, and its extraordinary rarity. And if you enjoyed learning about this remarkable piece of history and want to continue exploring the hidden treasures that could be hiding right in your pocket, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing stories of coins that changed ordinary people's lives forever.